Well, hello everyone out there, and here is our next Derby car. Just a brief look to start here. It is a Nissan Altima. Don't know anything about them. The last two cars I have left are this one, a Nissan Altima, a little bit bigger car, a little bit bigger motor, more weight and all that. And then we also have a Nissan Sentra, which oddly enough was the first car we got to start the summer with our Derby collection, and it will be the last one we run. But this one, our local mechanic, real nice guy, Friends Auto, here outside of Crawford County, Meadville, PA. And he said, hey, got this lady, she's just looking to get, whatever she can out of this vehicle. It runs. I know you Derby, thought you might be interested. I was like, absolutely. So that's kind of how I came across it, a little bit of dumb luck, and mentioned to me the rear brakes, they're disc and they're locked up. I was able to break the right one loose. This one drug the whole way onto the trailer. So whenever, the first thing I'm gonna do here, actually probably today, is get those brakes, brake pads that is, try to get them all the way off. I'll just briefly show out of the hood here. It's tough to get to the... So underneath, she's got, let me rig this up here. Again, got a bigger motor in it, a 2.5. As you see there, I'll take off that cover and all that junk. We'll take off this plastic over here for the air filter. Still has a battery in it. It's deader than a doornail. It is worthless. Decent amount of space between right here, the rebar, and that radiator. So we'll take all that plastic and junk off, of course. You can see how the muffler actually comes out and goes down. The converter, I believe there's one right there, and I believe there's another one in the back. The converters were still in this car, so that's what even made it more of a absolutely I'll buy it. Seems to run pretty good. Just kind of basic driving on the trailer, as I said, seems to run pretty good. You can see here, I don't know what it is, like it actually might be a bullet hole, as crazy as that sounds. I wouldn't say it's an arrow. This was sitting out in the lady's yard. She had the mechanic I mentioned, he tows too, pick it up and look it over, see if it was worth fixing, and it's all rusted out, the rockers and all that stuff like these old cars do. So not for the road, but for a Derby, absolutely. So just a brief first look. It's got leather, everything inside, oddly enough. A couple interesting sticker decals there, as you can see. Maybe a Deadpool fan, perhaps. So yeah, we're going to start stripping her soon and stock Derby build as we do. Not sure if I'm going to run the stock tank in this one. I like to, just because in the stock windshield class, whatever they call it, wire, there's all sorts of different names from different promoters. I haven't had an issue yet running if the gas lines are good, so we'll see. But this is her, just a first look. We'll haven't really looked her over in detail yet. We'll start to get all that plastic and stuff out, and we'll see what we got and go from there. So here we are updating. You can see we've got our tarp down. I'm ready now to hack out the front windshield and just bust up the back windshield, but just wanted to show. I haven't really touched anything up front other than just taking the lights out. We'll loop around the tranny lines, the windshield fluid holder. Now we'll take out, kind of clean up the wiring, unplug the sensors, but haven't really done anything else. But we took out the door windows and everything inside, the roof, the door panels, everything is cleaned out, the seats, and we are ready to, as I said, even unbolted the seats, ready to make a mess with the glass. About 90 minutes or so it takes me to do it. Got the airbags out, and with the airbags, this one's so nice on the side, just a 10mm bolt, unscrew them both, unplug it, easy. And by the way, I think I am going to leave that really nice colorful. It was a lady that had this car before. I think I'm going to leave that on there just for a little bit of style with it. But the passenger side, again, I started pretty much last year, and this year I've kind of perfected it, referring to the idea of the dash does not need to come out, especially stock. But even, I've seen street stock, the mild, the pro stock compacts guys also leaving the dash up there. Of course, unplug, my phone's going off, unplug the wiring for your airbags. That's all I do. I take usually the bottom out there, and you have to do perhaps a little bit of unbolt, and I'll walk around. We did get both rear wheels were locked up, I believe I mentioned earlier. This one is turning. She turns slow, but she turns whenever you're pulling her. This one here, as you can see, she locks up. I've beat it. I've actually taken the brake caliper off, all that stuff, and nothing. And again, as you can see, she's got a nice big trunk, similar to the Buick I ran earlier. Really nice. Tank's way inside. Tank is a little bit longer than I'd prefer, but we're going to run her straight stock, not worry about that. This window here, the motor was actually disconnected. It didn't work, but I was able to get it out, and you can see the big space in there. But yeah, back to the dash again. You just the glove box I drop down, and then usually like under here there's, or under the center console there, as you can see I can have out there's usually just like Phillips screws that are holding that dash down. Sometimes you can get to that passenger airbag and just disconnect, just like I did with the steering wheel there. Usually one on each side, the airbag, and you're good. This one though, a lot of the screws were covered up. So under there was some, and I had to get a little bit under here, but then I was able to raise it enough that I got them out, and then I just put the screws back in here so that that dash is solid. Again, you don't have to take it out. The first year or so I really did, and it's just extra time, especially stock, but even as I said, I've seen street stock, even pro stock guys not do that. So just a quick look there. We're pretty much done stripping it. Just get the windshield done, and then just a little bit of tidying up front. And she's pretty much ready to go, so we're getting there. And also just real quick, wanted to show a lot of people, you know, say, well, what do you do with this stuff as you tear them out? Well, as you can see here, we're against kind of the woods, out of the way. Over that way is where my house is, so this is kind of secluded. I just make a nice, kind of as neat as I can, organized pile, if you will. And whenever I'm done derbying, it just all gets jammed back into the car. And it's a little bit more weight, you know, if you're getting weighed in. And, you know, sometimes the salvage guys are a little bit picky on that stuff. You got to kind of ask, but it's a good way to get rid of your junk and not have any of it left over. Just make a nice organized pile and then jam it back in there. You take it to scrap, you're done. And here's the other car I have, the Sentra. There's its pile, stripped a little over a month ago and ready to go. And then here's the Altima I just did. So there you go. And just one final quick look for the night as night's turning outside. Had some rain come up, but we were able to get in here before the rain hit. Windshield came out, not too bad, not too messy. And the rear window as well. So we are looking like a derby car. Again, the cosmetic stuff's pretty much it. Just a little bit of organizing up front and unhooking the sensors. We're good with everything right now. She still runs like she should, with the airbags and everything taken out. So to the engine now, and hopefully we keep her running good. We're almost there. All right, and one more look here to kind of close up our first look and strip video, stripping it down, getting her ready to run. Up front, you can see we've got the first coat of the paint on. Talk about what we're gonna make this theme and why we're doing it that way in the final look video, or complete build video. But just wanted to show up front here the wiring. This plastic here kind of piece came out. I cut it off there and there. I left this here because this to me is still providing support to the core support. In fact, I think it's technically a part of it. But that bottom part, it wasn't really doing anything. It was holding the wires that were coming through here, which of course I took the plastic piece off and pulled that out. And you see they're pulled up in here. I just have a zip tie holding the wires up. But then I took an old radiator hose here. Shout out to Justin Hoffman. There were two questions I had, like what's the best, easiest way, you know, it's just a stock build, a quick build, to get the wires up and in. And then the battery lines, I usually cut the battery lines. There's usually two going into the positive, maybe three, and there's one, maybe two for the negative. The negative's usually very simple. Well, the positive on this one has this huge, I think it's like a fuse box. I'm not even sure, but it runs to this little fuse box. So I'm like, well, I don't want to mess with that. And he said, no, you don't have to. So what I always do is just take your U-bolt battery line, which is running into the car where the battery is, put it through there, tighten the U-bolt down good, tape it up good, and you're good. You don't have to cut anything on the positive side. So he said he always does that. I really like that. I'm like, wow, never thought of that. So that's how we did that there. And I'll kind of secure these to the either this kind of intake piece there. Not really sure how I'm going to secure that, but I'll do that. But yeah, the wiring, this tubing here, just an old radiator hose. Took off an old derby car, cut it, put the wires in there, kind of help protect it some. Same thing over here, cut out this piece. And then I took like another just old thing off of a derby car hose to kind of protect that corner at least a little bit more. I mean, it's not going to protect it totally unless you kind of take the wires entirely inside, and then just fasten down some stuff, and that's it. We cut the muffler just behind the motor as it comes out here. There's a converter there and it goes down. Cut it right in front. There's another like little converter. I think they call them like coils. We can get some money for those. And yeah, that's it. Well, wires running in up front. Said she's stock. I topped it off with water and my fabric softener, which is over there. I use, if you don't know this, I absolutely think this does it. I like this April Fresh. It's got a nice smell. If you pop a radiator or a hose or something, it smells nice too. But it seems to help keep the engine running cooler. I've ridden it in my cars this year that have kind of got punched up front, and they seem to keep running cooler. So yeah, we'll keep doing that. But I'm going to paint the wheels just a simple little stripe and kind of finish up the paint design. But inside, I got the battery just sitting there. I drilled. You can see the holes from my cage that will go in there, or not my cage, but my battery holder, my SMW battery holder, and she's ready to go. We're going to leave this in there and just kind of tidy up the wires a little bit more. The final video will see that, and she's almost ready to rock and roll. Got my hood sign cut out already, the holes drilled out, hood up front there as well. So we're ready. Not really sure what we're going to get. Hopefully a fun time, runs for a while, and maybe even get down there to the end where we get a piece of hardware.